Everything we've been talking about, other than a little bit with the building, is about relationships. It's not a big program. It's all about relationships. And it's also true once they come to your church. Once somebody has stepped into your church or stepped into your worship, what your lay people do with each other, those relationships are huge. It's not so much the program you have, but it's about what is your steps to build a relationship with this new guest. We need to wake up and get some fire back in our belly for people. I don't know how to say it politely. I don't mean that I don't care what your theology is. I don't care what kind of label you put on yourself. We got to get some passion back for people. And people to come in our faith communities. So somebody new is here. Now what? And how do they get from being a guest to being a follower of Jesus? John Wesley would gather his band leaders up or his class leaders up when they was preaching and say, now you sit out in an audience in different places for the preaching time. And you're not just sitting there soaking up like a sponge, you're watching. Your job is to watch people. And if you see somebody particularly moved by the message, particularly moved in the sermon, you need to go up to them afterwards and see if there's anything you could do to get them to your band or class. We should be saying to our lay people, okay, when you're in church today, here's your assignment. You're going to sit here, 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 and here, and I want you to watch the audience. If anybody looks like they're moved by the Spirit, you get to them after service and see what that's about and see if you can move them to the small group. Because Wesley believed that's where the real learning was going to happen. Now, isn't it interesting that he had a system in the 1700s, mostly lay-driven? You're not just sitting there, but you're taking an active role with the people in the room to say, could I help you take another step? Well, I'd ask your group, are you doing that? Leadership is the key. And that starts with understanding your mission. I've never seen a growing congregation that didn't deeply understand its mission, deeply get its vision, and have missional alignment with its goals and ministries. Friends, if it's not compelling, you're probably going to hang on to the folks you got, but it isn't going to get the folks you were hoping for, the younger, more diverse people coming into your door, if it's just fine. We have a lot of churches, by the way, are fine. They're just fine. But fine doesn't get new people. A lot of our churches are fine. They're nice churches, but that's not enough in a non-church culture. You have got to have a system for raising up leaders. You have got to intentionally do it. You got to spend time doing it. If you're in a larger church, a third of my time is about identifying, training, and investing time in leaders. Well, the building does matter. You only get a first impression once. And so, again, if you've gone to all this work and building relationships, we're talking an enormous amount of work and asking people to change some bits of their lives and do this. Well, friends, when they walk in with you, now hear that, not by themselves, and they get a bad first impression or it smells old church, then all that went out the window. The number one thing that stops most lay people from inviting folks to their church is that they're not confident that when they get there, they wouldn't be embarrassed. I don't want to ruin a weekday relationship for they get to my church and I'm asking them next Monday, how was it? And we have this awkward moment of, well, really, it was terrible. And then that changes that relationship forever. Guys, if that happens to somebody and you spend all this energy to get them there and they open the wrong door just because you didn't put a sign on it that said not the entrance, and it sent you into a dark hallway that had 3 left turns and 2 rights before you found anybody? Really?